And then we're going to have Cam Peterson, Ty Scott, and Kaylee Yaakov, who Jamie got to talk to a little bit ago. Jake Lewis, Brandon Posh, and Josh Hayes, Aiden Sneed, Corey Alexander, and Teague Hobbs. Then we're going to see Joe Lamandry Jr., who didn't get to do any laps yesterday, Greg, with a small slide off. Collins, Max Van Nassani, who put in a great ride yesterday. Davis and Yandel Medina. Rodeo De Silva, Enriquez, Owen Williams, Riston Gregg, and Logan Monk. And then we're going to see Mag, Zaragoza, Omen, Horny, and Donde.
Final race of the season for Motovation Supersport, and here we go to turn one, and it looked like a good launch from the 22 in the middle part of your screen, and it was. Blake Davis got a great launch. Matthew Skoltz, his teammate, goes into second. Let's see if Skoltz gets aggressive up the inside on his teammate, and no, Blake Davis able to hold on to it. So for the moment, it's the 22 with the lead, and now look at all these riders behind. They're going to be mucking about trying to find some position, and it's PJ Jacobson, the number 15, on that Ray Hall Ducati Moto with Expel machine in third spot, and Cameron Peterson and the Celtic Economy Lube and Tire Warhorse HSBK Ducati in fourth.
I'm going to ask you real quick, Greg, to give me that pole position lap time again while I go ahead and tell you right now. And he got a first chance on this bike because it looks like he tries to go up underneath Blake.
Whoa.
Blake left the door open, and Matthew's just going to go right, sliding up underneath him there. So we got the same four again, don't we? These guys have been at the front all year. We got Ty Scott chasing.
It looks like we have the same group out front again.
I ran into team owner Peter Strack this morning, Greg, and he said to me that Matthew left dinner last night. I said, I got to get to bed early as Josh Hayes gets up underneath. I believe that's Jake Lewis.
Onto the front straightaway comes Skoltz. Jay, 1:21.9. That's the fastest lap of the race so far. And look at the pass for second place. A nice move by Cameron Peterson. Skoltz had 0.7 of a second average a lap on the other riders as Cam Peterson. Nice draft and pass.
Really good.
Easy right up the inside.
Yeah, nice move there from Cam P. And he's having a great weekend as well. But you can see now the Yamaha R9 of that BPR Racing and Josh Hayes, he just rolls right up the inside of PJ, and see if PJ can close this line off, Jamie.
I was talking to Josh Hayes earlier today. Ooh, he's able to save it. Josh Hayes in that battle there with PJ Jacobson. I was asking him about that R7.
Yeah, I know these kids these days, huh?
Yeah.
So you could see he was up alongside PJ, tried to do it. Look at him look over to the left too. Looks over to the left to make sure there's not anybody else there. And he goes back up underneath PJ. They go into turn 5. Hayes makes that pass. So gotta love seeing this. And now he's got to put his head down because up the road a little bit from them now is Ty Scott to try to test it to see if it was fixed. As you see that replay of Josh Hayes going up the inside of PJ Jacobson. And
Kayla with a problem. Yaakov, the number 19, on that Ray Hall Ducati Moto with Expel. I saw her put her hand up for the moment, so something going on with Kayla's machine.
Greg, I ran into her this morning as well. She said Jason yesterday in the race, as happy as she was with her result, she's been having problems. That bike yesterday at full throttle wasn't running on song. And you're going to see here, there's this Matthew getting sideways. Same spot we saw Josh get a little bit sideways. So this is a little bit harder tire as we.
So the gap remains the same from Blake Davis to the front runner. 3.5 seconds or so, 3.7. And Josh Hayes now 3.7 seconds back from Ty Scott. That's what you're seeing on the left part of your screen. Posh.
Love seeing this from Brandon. Brandon's a kid. Oh, Cam Peterson. Oh,
unfortunately for Cam, on the Celtic Economy Lube and Tire Warhorse HSBK Ducati Panigale V2, he is down, and he has collected some foliage with him.
Yes, he has.
Get it going again.
It gets out wide. Yeah, got out wide out on the paint. And you know, Greg, it's like we've had the sun beaten down, so I don't know how much water or anything could still be.
Skoltz has gone 21.588. So just 400 deaths, 400ths of a second off. So same. Pretty incredible when you had 25 minutes to set up the bike with a tire that you haven't seen all year.
100%. And it's like, it just goes to show the level of rider that he is, the way he's been able to adapt. Now let's get back to this. Brandon Posh gets that Doritos GSX-R 750 into 5th place as he goes past Josh Hayes. And you know, we've seen Brandon in our paddock over the years win championships. Obviously in Junior Cup way back in the day. We've seen him ride Super Sport bikes. We've seen him on a bagger. We've seen him in Superbike riding for that Vision Wheel M4X Star Suzuki team.
Put his name on that list for this ride for the full time next year, especially when you consider the fact that the next time we have Super Sport out on the racetrack will be for the Daytona 200, and it's a points-playing race. So Brandon wanting to ensure that he can put his name on that list as Josh Hayes now gets around him.
And he gets to battle with Josh Hayes, 4-time Superbike champion.
Like it is the Daytona 200.
Like it is. Brandon has a look over his shoulder, sees that there's nobody there. He's got to worry about one guy, and he just happens to be in front of him, and that's Josh Hayes. So,
and that's very appealing to a lot of teams. Here is Corey Alexander, the 23 machine. He is on the Rahal Ducati Moto with roller die and forming in what looks like his last race, at least for this team, for the 2025 season, as we expect Corey Alexander to be racing.
Joe.
Yeah, Bazooka Joe getting after it. Local guy.
Love it. Joe didn't get to go very far with us yesterday. We saw him fall over in turn 2, and he's just battling with two guys that have been racing all season long. And look at the speed. Joe Lamandry's on an old R6 and doing just such a good job. And another kid that should be in our series full time is Joe Lamandry Jr. He's going to line up Corey. Tried to line up Corey into turn 5.
Not just yet. And is that Aiden Sneed?
Aiden Sneed right behind them.
In 13th place on that MV Agusta. All right, back up towards the front we go. And it is Ty Scott who is now past Blake Davis. So the Vision Wheel M4X Star Suzuki rider on the GSXR 750 that we were just talking about passes 4 position. Skoltz still almost 12 seconds up the road.
Oh man, that's crazy.
Yeah, he's just so dialed in right now. As we still have 6.5 laps to go in Motovation Supersport. 22 is not going to give up. There he goes up the inside.
Ty just opens the door bigger than you could open it there for Blake, and Blake's not going to need a second invitation to just jump down the inside of Ty Scott into turn 5. So
able to notice was the fact that Matthew's able just to go side to side a lot easier than what Blake was able to do. And that's really been one of the stories all season long, and the strength that Matthew Skoltz has had. And Blake's really worked on it. In fact, over the course of this season, as Ty Scott gets back around him, he's actually gained about 10 pounds just in total body weight. But more than that, he's been able to bulk up a little bit, try to work on his strength and being able to move around a bit. So
the races are usually a little bit longer, Greg. You got more speed to slow down from on a superbike. So this is the future of our superbike class right here. You're looking at 2 young men here that I believe will be on superbikes eventually, and both might have that avenue. If Strack does move up to superbike next year, they're creating a pathway for our younger riders as well. And we know what Vision Wheel M4XR Suzuki's done over the years, bringing young riders through their program. So for Ty Scott, I know Ty, he wants to be up there winning races. So these 2 guys are probably going to be locking horns for years to come.
When they came across that time, Ty Scott was out front. Here comes Davis up the inside. If you're wondering about the championship, of course, Skoltz wrapped it up.
You definitely have to have a certain smoothness and feel about it, when you watch what these guys are doing.
How about PJ Jacobson?
He's done a nice job.
4th place.
Rebounding,
Yeah, 5 seconds now behind Ty Scott, so he's able to get around Brandon Posh and Josh Hayes, who continue to race themselves. But PJ has just really kind of sorted it out, and this is the skill level and racing intelligence of PJ Jacobson. And then Lamandry Jr., Corey Alexander, Jake Lewis, Teague Hobbs, your top 10.
See Josh Hayes taking a look down the inside now at Brandon Posh, so he wants to try to get some pace and go after PJ if he can. These riders all riding around the 23s.
PJ Jacobson will put a big smile on Hayes' face. White flag out, final lap for Matthew Skoltz, who's way out front. We're still waiting for Blake Davis to come across the stripe as our battle for 4th continues. Onto the front straightaway, these riders go. So 15.3 seconds for the 22, and it looks like the 70 has closed back up. So the final 2 spots on the podium, second and third, continues.
He just goes and runs a 10th off his best lap of the race. He goes 22.4. So I knew that something had happened that last lap because he was at like a 23.7. To dig that deep, last couple laps of the season, he's trying to show himself to his team that, hey, I'm not giving up on this. And the 70 is there now on the back of the 22 again. So let's see if Ty can get close enough, maybe try to do something with that Strack Racing R9 at the finish line. So, for Ty, this has just been a nice run back this last lap and a half.
So with Matthew Skoltz clearly out front, the national champion, putting a stamp on it one more time in the final Motovation Supersport race of the 2025 season. As we look at Blake Davis, Strack Racing Yamaha, Vision Wheel M4X Star Suzuki, Ty Scott battling for second and third, so they can join this guy on the left part of your screen, the number 1, Schultz, with a big victory. Now here we come onto the front straightaway. Who's going to stand next to him? Just a little higher up in second place. Here we go. It's the big run. Ty Scott trying to get a handful of that GSXR. Here comes the finish line. Scott out wide, and he will do it. He'll get it done by 0.013 seconds. And now the battle. Look at Hayes and Posh, and it's going to be PJ Jacobsen in fourth, Posh in fifth, and Hayes in sixth place.
I would like to see how that all handled. And you can see here, you look at Lamandry trying to draft Corey Alexander, and he's going to do it. Lamandry ends up 7th on that old R6, Greg. What a job from him. And Corey Alexander 8th, Jake Lewis 9th, Torrin Collins. Good to see him back in the top 10.
You know, Blake's going to be a little disappointed with that because he wants the team to go first and second, but that's the way it goes.
But what an exciting finish that was. That checkered flag, so many bikes changing positions and fighting for those final spots on the line. What a way to have a final race of Supersport for 2025.
Welcome back to New Jersey Motorsports Park. The end of Motovation Supersport race number 2. The end of Motovation Supersport season. The results have Matthew Schultz with a 14.2 second margin of victory after he had kind of a nice celebratory final lap at a 24.3. And then Blake Davis and Ty Scott getting after it, with Scott getting the nod. PJ, Posh, Hayes.
But these guys just ran into somebody really tough, and that's Matthew Schultz on a bike that he mentioned it earlier in the interview this weekend, how he feels like he's been riding better than ever, and it definitely has been the case.
Matthew Schultz, 383 points. PJ Jacobsen second in the championship with Blake Davis. And yep, you can see Ty Scott was able to just kind of work his way up there, but